as we move on to a topic that Scott now gets to dread at 100% because the rumor mill is milling a bit. Word on the street, potentially, maybe, possibly, in the year 2026, there is a certain contract in AEW that's going to expire for one Chris Jericho, one of the founding fathers of AEW. You can hear Scott's disgust and disdain from afar. And word on the street is that possibly, maybe, Chris Jericho could rejoin WWE. And all I have to say is, I don't care. Now, I will say this proudly. For the longest time, I was a Chris Jericho fan. I was a Chris Jericho stan. The man, for the longest time, could do no wrong. And then the learning tree happened. And so many things went wrong. Then he was Ring of Honor champion. So many things went wrong. And he was champion twice for the express purpose of trying to get Ring of Honor a television deal that has yet to happen in the year 2025. So they wasted my time not once, but twice in the last couple of years. But Chris Jericho going back to WWE doesn't mean a lot to me. If he goes back to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, congratulations to him. But I cannot take Chris Jericho on my TV as a weekly character. If they were to bring him back, he has to be a special attraction to be seen sparingly, because I cannot take Jericho as an every week character on my television screen. I simply cannot do that in 2025 or 2026 and beyond.
I mean, we all know why they would hire him back. Triple H is looking for somebody who knows how to drive around to the front of the White House, can get him right there,
Wow.
direct access. So I get it. Triple H is, he just did the big thing over there. He's got his new whole nutrition plan he wants to try. So he just wants to make sure he has a ride and knows the correct way to get up there. So I get that. Man, I don't care. I don't. For me personally, Jericho peaked when he had the entire crowd sing his song, sing him down to the ring when MJF took his music. I thought that was one of the best they've done. For me, that was when it was the last time I really cared about Chris Jericho. He'll come over there. He'll get a great reaction because he's been gone. Depending on who he is interacting with, it could be interesting. But Jericho just doesn't do a lot for me right now in 2025 outside of like a one-off type thing, and that's fine. I won't ever knock nobody for getting their bread, and he's definitely going to get paid for it. But me personally, as my personal wrestling preference, Jericho really does nothing for me. So with that being said, there are some options that Jericho can go on because they won't affect me. LFG, I think him and Bully Ray can have some great arguments on there. So he can go on there. He could be one of those judges. They can even set themselves up a match to have at the Performance Center one day on LFG. He can go work for Evolve, the Temu Varsity Club that's down there running things. That's on the top. He could work well over there. TNA's trying to get a TV deal. Maybe 60-year-old Chris can get them a TV deal. They love to do that. And I think that's about as high up the ladder as we're going to go. AAA. I could him versus Microman. That'd be really cool. But that's about it when it comes to Chris Jericho for me. Shout out to Microman.
You ain't shit. You ain't shit because you basically said this man can be on any show. where there's not an audience. You basically said put him somewhere where no one will see him.
Put him behind some type of free streaming platform. You got a lot to choose from. The CW app is an option. Where's Billy Corgan? Somebody call Billy. Okay. You got options. If you have to sign him, we got places he can go. There's just 3 shows he doesn't need to be on. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of other places he can go.
You are sending this man to the television abyss. You don't want him. You said hide him on a show that no one watches. Put him on Tubi on a show no one watches. Send him to AAA. He might get views. He might land with Microman. Shout out to Microman. My favorite wrestler of the weekend. A gift to this world. Honestly. I'm in tears because you ain't shit. You're not. You are not.
There's one more place he could go. He could go to OVW. You know, they got that wrestler show on Netflix. Him and Al Snow could do great over there.
Sir. Well, listen, you got that man buried in like the top 3,000 shows on Netflix. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. You ain't right for that.
Season 4 of Sullivan's Crossing probably needs another character to come on in too. So,
you know what? That might be a bigger draw than all those other ideas you put together.
See, I'm trying to help that man get a bag. What? Oh, All Americans ending. What's the little mob show that Tony D did a cameo on? Jericho could be a villain of the week on that.
Oh my God, I can't with you. Oh man, I have a little bit more respect for Chris Jericho than Scott does. I do want him to be visible, limited visibility, you know. And what hurts me is I, as a teenager, as a young adult, as an actual adult, Chris Jericho is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But he has worn out his welcome in my life right now as a wrestling fan. I'm tired of him. I am. And Scott's right. He peaked with his theme song in AEW, Judas. For me, he really peaked when they sung the song on the boat 5 years ago.
The wind blowing, and that was nice.
Wind blowing. It was a beautiful scene. It was great. After that, it was like, you know what? We've hit our peak here. You know, we did Painmaker for a bit. That was fine. But you know what? I'm cool. I'm cool with Jericho in limited doses in WWE if we chose to go in that direction. I'm pretty sure if that man popped up at a Royal Rumble, he'll get a massive pop. Don't do it in Saudi Arabia because, you know, they might not cheer that loud. But they've been better lately. They've improved. I wouldn't want to return there, but they might save him for a WrestleMania payday, potentially. It wouldn't shock me. But I would be happy to hear Break the Walls Down one more time. That wouldn't make me sad at all. But I need that man in limited doses. I just can't take a weekly Jericho on my TV. I cannot. I'm sorry.
You know, I will say, if there was a countdown clock and we got the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'd be like, all right, cool. But as soon as I see that man throw a single person over the top rope, I'm gonna be like, word. Somebody get this man up out of here. But all right, yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. He will 100% get a great reaction, and the fans probably will be very excited for him. He's just not for me.